5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And the guy sings. Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome. This is the Ramble, and we're here until midnight tonight, Eastern Daylight Time. And we got somebody to talk to tonight. Oh, yeah. And the picture, too. It's a lovely ex-wife. Ladies and gentlemen, from the lovely lands of Oregon and Lake Oswego. And is it Oswego? I always say Oswego.
No, it's Oswego.
Oh, okay. You say Oswego, I say Oswego. Anyway, this is Ronnie Bennett. This is an ex-wife.
An ex-wife. What is it for? Is it 3 or 4 you've had?
I'm on my 4th.
Oh, jeez.
Well, come on. I've lived long enough. I deserve it.
Have I told on this show? Have I told the Elizabeth Taylor story?
What Elizabeth Taylor story?
When I was producing Barbara Walters specials interviews, we were interviewing Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah.
And we did it at. It was interesting at that. It's now burned down, but back then it still was around. The western town out in the desert in Arizona that was used as the town in every western movie you ever saw.
Uh-huh.
And it was a period piece, and she was in a big flouncy dress, like a Southern belle sort of thing. And we were there on a day they were shooting. And so her number of marriages came up, and the question was, Elizabeth, you've been married 9 times. And she had the most perfect answer. It hardly applies anymore, but it still did back then, 30-odd years ago. And she said, but Barbara, I didn't just sleep with them. I married them all.
My answer to that question usually is they say, you've been married 4 times? I said, yeah, and I'm going to keep doing it till I get it right.
Yeah. Well, you're running out of time, honey.
I'm running out of time. But, I went about 15 years, I think 15, longer than that maybe, without getting remarried. So I went through for a long period of time not being married. All right?
See, I have lived alone, as childhood aside, when you live with your parents. I have lived alone for all but the 6 years with you and 4 or 5 years with a man I lived with for that period of time. Other than that, I've always lived by myself.
Wow.
I'm probably useless. I mean, if somebody wanted to share my space, I'd probably be a miserable roommate, married or otherwise.
Well, you shouldn't feel guilty about that. Listen, I know, remember Paul Krasner? He's dead now. He's dead now. But he got married, and his wife lived across the street. So she kept living there. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the way you do it. Nobody says you have to live together.
I had a friend years and years and years ago, way back, before you and I were married, who believed that husbands and wives should keep separate apartments, that was the only way to preserve a long-term marriage.
I think that 2 people living in the same space constantly can drive you nuts. Okay. Now, in my particular situation, my wife goes to work every day, but she's thinking about retiring, and I'm thinking to myself, that means we're always going to be in the same space all the time.
Yeah, but you've got a huge apartment. There's lots of places to go and close the door.
Yeah, we can do that. Yes. And she's decided the bedroom is her office. So, there's no way, Yeah.
That works.
But nevertheless, still, when you talk about, what do you do? You have to give yourself some space, and I know a lot of very.
Alex, stop there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think that lots of people. Maybe you and I were. Well, I wasn't but I was for a lot of the time an only child until my brother was born. But unless you grew up with a gigantic family, maybe that's what makes the difference. I said that kind of backwards. What I mean is that I think that most people want other people around them all the time. That it's not a question of can you go somewhere and close the door. It doesn't come up with them, that they like having people around all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that that's true, but I think it is.
Yeah, but you need still, I mean, that's nice that you want people around, and that makes sense, okay? But what's the point I'm trying to make here? It's a question of just not being in that same space all the time. Now, you say, I'm lucky. I've got this apartment with a lot of room. I can pretty well disappear in it while she's in another room. But a lot of people don't have that. And I don't know if that would change if she were around all the time. If it wouldn't drive us both nuts, you know.
I don't know. I just think.
I mean, you know, I'm capable of driving somebody nuts. So you know.
That's why she's married to you and I'm not.
That's correct. That's correct. So listen, one thing I mentioned when we first started talking before we started this was your hair is looking. That's actually a kind of almost a punk look.
Oh yeah, that's pretty old, isn't it? What happens is if you lose all your hair while you're having chemo, and it takes, for the longest time, it's just a little bit of fuzz on your head. It takes forever to grow out. And then, of course, it grows out at all of these different lengths you've never messed around with much in your life. So you do the best you can every morning. Today, it's a little punk rocky, you know, so.
Well, I mean, you know, I think maybe I should take a still frame of each of the last many things we've done and do a evolution of your hair growing back in.
A lot of people, and not just one or two, a lot of people over the years have talked about the banner of the pictures of me, like from age 2 till now, across the top of my blog, and called it a history of Ronnie's hairstyles.
Yes. Which, if you go to her blog, which is timegoesby.net, you will see across the top there are pictures of her. Now, of those pictures, which one is the worst? Which is the worst hairstyle you ever had? I'll tell you what I think, but you go ahead and you tell me.
I think the one when I'm 18 and it's very tight to my head and it's all very 1950s buttoned up kind of a hairstyle.
Really? I think it's the blonde.
Well, that one's blonde.
Oh,
That's
it was
the one.
blonde? Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't, when you went blonde, I went, why?
Well, because it was the times, you know.
But if there was anybody who shouldn't be a blonde, it was you.
Why?
I don't know. You're not a blonde.
That's what I'm stuck with now. I mean, it's white, not blonde or grayish white, but
that's natural. That's where that's where it goes after a while. Sometimes it doesn't go anywhere after a while, you know. But yeah. So I mean, but I think it looks very good now. It's looking cool. You know?
Well, it'll keep growing unless I have it cut, and so then I'll have to figure out something new. We'll see what happens.
Well, you had your hair very short when I first met you, right? When you hopped in the back seat of that car that I was in.
You know, I don't remember what my hair was
because
then.
I distinctly remember, at least my initial impression when you came into the car was, well, who's this guy? Because
really?
Wait a minute, because your hair was short and it was dark. Okay, you know, and then I looked and it was a woman.
And here we are, 50-odd years later.
Here we are, 50-odd years later. Oh, God, has it been that long, dear?
Closer to 60, I would bet.
Closer to 60. Let's see, I was...
We met in 59.
Yeah, the Old Town Coffee House was where I met you, outside of it.
In front of the Old Town Coffee House, yes.
Yeah, and you lived right next door to it.
Yes, I had an apartment in a house there, yes.
Yeah, so that was your place of hanging out.
So
and also the guy said, I'm picking up my friend Ronnie. So when I heard that, I mean, immediately Guy comes
Ronnie,
to mind.
So you thought a guy too?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
While we've been talking, and this is Thursday morning that we're recording this, the hearing with Joseph
McGuire
seems to have just ended. Mm-hmm. Did you watch any of it?
I watched some of it, yeah. Those hearings, I get very frustrated with them because I don't think a lot comes out of those things. because everybody's sitting there with an agenda and that's it, and I'd like to hear one Republican say, I want to find out some things here. So maybe I can make up my own mind.
I think a couple of them did that this morning.
Yeah, well, I didn't stick through the whole thing, so I didn't see that happening. But when I tuned in, it was the same old suspects going, well, we all know the president didn't do anything wrong, and he has the right to decide for himself what's good for America. Bullshit. Fuck you, below me.
Well, okay, it's hard to argue with that.
Well, that's my answer to everything to somebody like that these days. Blow me.
Come on, Alex. God, I'm trying to uphold some propriety here.
I know. Well, you're the dignity of the team, and I'm the...
What frustrated me this morning with McGuire was that the media had promoted him to us in the last day or two as someone filled to the brim with integrity. And like every single one before him, whether you like them or don't like them, they all refuse to answer a bunch of yes or no questions. And it's just amazing what they can find to say. If I ask you, Alex, are you wearing a hat or not? Instead of saying yes, you start this long rambling paragraph about whether you have to answer questions about wearing hats. And it just drives me crazy.
Here's the thing. I watched this guy, and I felt sorry for him. And the reason I felt sorry for him, it was very apparent that this was not a situation in which he felt comfortable. He feels comfortable.
Never done this kind of thing much.
Right. He feels comfortable being in office, shouting out orders, and he's not.
40 years in the military as SEAL.
Yeah. Not used to this. And so all of a sudden, he's put on a dais where he's got to become a public figure. And a lot of people don't know how to do that, and he didn't seem very comfortable in the role.
No.
No,
and how long do you think is it gonna be before the whistleblower's name is leaked? I mean, this morning a whole lot of people were saying him, and a few people have been told the person's name, and because they kept saying him and all day yesterday they were saying him or her, that some of them know who this person is, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They say that he or she has to be protected, carefully protected, because it would affect his or her career. If you became a whistleblower because, as this person seems to think, something terrible was being done by some people in the administration that needed to be addressed, and particularly if it turned out that it was a nonpartisan complaint and a whole lot of it held up to scrutiny, wouldn't there be recourse if somebody tried to fire you or not allow you to be hired somewhere else or tried to stop your career? Well, don't you think?
Yeah, my question is, to begin with, we don't know where in the situation this person was. In other words, was it somebody that was in Trump's inner circle, or was it somebody who was simply assigned to listen into this? Because
apparently not. They were not assigned to listen in and didn't listen in. He or she heard these things that were written down in the complaint from a bunch of insiders.
Okay.
And what impressed the whistleblower was that they corroborated in separate interviews or discussions, corroborated one another.
Okay. So this wasn't somebody who was privy to the conversation.
Well, so as far as we know now, everything is speculative until we find out the facts.
Yeah. But my question is, I mean, look, nothing I would like to see more than impeachment. However, the other problem is we got then have Pence. So that's not acceptable to me. I'm just saying we're a year away from an election. Let's have that be the referendum. Let's do it there. Huh?
I don't agree.
Okay.
That if it's found by this inquiry, I'm never sure of the right word anymore that we're supposed to call it, and impeachment follows, and I would rather, if the Republicans who control the Senate and are the jury in the trial, in an impeachment trial, I would rather see him gone now, that as a public statement in a certain kind of court of law that he was found guilty, than just, oh, we didn't reelect him. He's done so much that is so terrible. Mm-hmm. I want him
to suffer.
No, that hadn't occurred. It's not suffer, although it wouldn't bother me.
Well, this would make him suffer. I mean, an impeachment would make him suffer because he has a big ego.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, that's the point is someone that a person, even at the highest level, was held to account for wrongdoing, and we've done a real bad job of that in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I would like to see it done.
Okay.
That way, as opposed to the election.
All right.
I mean, then you just fade away. You go off and, there's Bill Clinton and there's all the rest, and he takes pictures with other ex-presidents forever. I wonder that if he is convicted in the impeachment, I wonder when they do that, once or twice a year, all the living ex-presidents get together somewhere and their picture gets taken, if Trump would be included. How would you treat a disgraced president?
Well, look at all that he has said about Obama. Now, I don't care if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. Obama was a decent guy. Obama wasn't an evil human being on any level.
In many cases.
And he certainly doesn't deserve the kind of ire that this president has presented him. The problem is that most presidents never talk about ex-presidents. It's just considered not proper. In this case, he goes out of his way to try to do everything to besmirch Obama.
Oh, do you know, I just discovered yesterday, speaking of that exactly, I just found out yesterday, I had somehow missed it until it came up in the news somewhere, that part of what he was asking the Ukrainian president to do was find Clinton's emails in Ukraine on a server in Ukraine. I mean,
he won the election.
How crazy is this?
But no, he won the election. Why can't he let this go?
Well,
he just...
We've all been asking that for a long time.
Well, I claim it all goes back to the correspondence dinner. He hates Obama for the correspondence dinner. That's where it all started. Because his obsession with Obama is just unrelenting.
And it's been horribly, horribly terrible for the environment. Everything that Obama got through to protect the environment, he's been dismantling one by one by one. I mean, dozens of them.
Now, let me ask you a question, okay? This goes along with your old people blog and everything like that. Okay, so I'm 79. I will soon be 80.
That's a big birthday.
I guess.
Are you going to have a cake with that many candles? Can you blow that many out?
Just watch yourself.
Listen, I'm the one with COPD. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to be 80. So why? Let me just ask you an adversarial question. Why should I give a shit? I don't have any children, right? I don't have any progeny.
Why should you give a shit about what?
About what happens to this country, because I'm not going to be around for the real results of it. I mean, this is going to be devastating in, say, 15 years when everything that he did comes to full boil. Why should I care?
Because you believe in the democracy. You believe in your country. You believe in the future.
Mm-hmm. But why should I care about the future? I'm just saying. I'm just asking you.
I'm giving you my answer.
Yeah.
How can you not believe in the future and as good a life as we can leave behind for future generations? That's important to me.
Well, I think
we've done a terrible job of it.
What you're talking about is legacy. You know,
All right. I mean, that's another word
yeah,
for it.
yeah, we should leave a legacy behind that we tried to stop this kind
I
of
mean,
thing.
democracies can't be perfect. And so each generation, I think, has an obligation. You know, what's the phrase in one of the founding documents? To form a more perfect union. Is that we try to keep making it better and better and make it work better, be more fair. Each generation that takes power. And certainly I care what we leave behind. Speaking of that, can we go on?
Wait a minute,
There's something we really need to say.
Hold on a second. I have to do something here because your picture suddenly decided to get small. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Oh, there, it just got larger again.
Oh, well, you know.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I've never had that happen yet in this.
Well, yeah, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
But isn't Greta wonderful?
Isn't what?
Greta wonderful.
Greta?
Greta from Sweden.
Oh, the kid. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, she's just, I mean, she puts pretty much a large number of our legislators to shame. I mean, the passion, the caring, the speech at the UN was just stunning.
Yeah, yeah.
And it brought to mind, I'm writing about it right now, it brought to mind the biblical phrase from the Old Testament, and a little child shall lead them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any grown-up show that kind of passion for the environment and the world.
And I try to figure out exactly where it comes from at that age, but it maybe it came from her parents. Her parents may be real.
I don't know. But, you know, I kind of try, in my mind, I connected her. Do you remember David Hogg from Parkland, one of the survivors of the Parkland shooting?
Yeah.
And those kids that organized that, the anti-gun march and that sort of thing, they're all in college now. They're working hard.
Yeah.
You know, they've got 4 years to get through college. But they're still, when they've got the time, working as gun advocates. Is that what I mean? I don't mean advocates. In their spare time.
Yeah.
But these are really committed kids. And were there people in our generation when we were that young on whatever they found lacking that they wanted to change?
I think in the
anti-Vietnam people, maybe.
In the Vietnam era, there was a lot of that. But then again, okay, well, this holds true here too. Then again, in Vietnam, they were trying to save their own lives, in that they could be drafted, they could be sent over there, and so on.
Well, I mean,
but in her case,
some altruism too.
No, in her case, she's looking at the world she's going to be handed, okay, and that she wants to be able to breathe the air, and that long after I'm gone and you're gone and Trump is gone, she's going to have to live with the results of whatever decisions are being made now, and so. I laud her.
Been made for the last 30 years.
I laud her for having that kind of, I mean,
but you see her speak. It's only 5 minutes or so long, her speech at the UN on Monday, and you just say, "Yes, I will be there with you."
Well, how old is she? Like how old is she now? She's
16.
16. You know, at 16, you'd imagine going into a 16-year-old's bedroom and there'd be pictures of like Justin Bieber on the walls. But I don't know what's on her walls. Maybe a picture of an iceberg melting. I don't know, you know.
She's just wonderful. She gave me hope.
Well, you know something? I think a lot of young people can give us hope. I think that young people today are far more aware of what's going on around them. Than even we did when we were kids.
Well, we didn't have nearly as much media. You want to know something? It just astonishes me, the things that I used to have to decide what I wanted to know. Then I had to get on the bus or the subway, depending on where I lived, or drive, go to the library, go to the card catalog, and on and on and on to find an answer to a question.
Right, now
I can type a few words into a keyboard, and I can have 50 different answers to the question instantly, almost close enough.
Yeah. So what we've got going now is brain load.
Yeah, that's the other problem.
That's the other problem. I mean, the other problem is you get all this stuff online, and which one is the right answer? You know, I mean,
if that's your job. You're supposed to know how to sort that out.
Yeah, but aren't you going to sort it out based on your own biases?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. And come on, I've had to do my own research all my life.
Well,
I
yeah,
know how to work out what is truth and what is somebody trying to fool
of
me.
course, I'm arguing with the research queen.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, as a researcher, how do you sort out the truth from the false stuff that you get online?
Well, there's some that's just obvious. If it's poorly written and misspelled, I
Oh
get
well,
rid of it right away.
that's
I
for
mean, but you can
starters.
get rid of about 50% that way, you know. And then you look at the source. What publication is it from? Who is writing it? Are they sourcing it? Are they telling you where they got their facts? And there's much more to it than that, but that's the beginning.
Wow. Hey, listen, we've run out of time.
We always do.
We haven't once talked about health, and
No.
we talked, but we have talked a lot about the world around us, and from a very
And
passionate,
go, Greta. Jeez.
from a very passionate woman who will tell you, has no problem telling you what she thinks.
No, she's the best. I just
No,
think
I'm
she's
talking
the-
about you.
And by the
I'm
way, a
talking
year and a
about.
half
Wait a minute.
ago,
Wait a
I
minute.
felt
Wait a minute.
that about David Hogg.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
Greta. Sorry.
Hey, listen. Let's do it again in 2 weeks, okay?
All right, my dear.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Bennett, timegoesby.net is her blog. Read it. It's worth it. And see pictures of her through her entire life at the very top.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, what?
5 years and still
Oh,
talking.
really?
This is
Okay.
GabNet, the Great American
ahead.
Broadcast Network.
Plum-
Talk like you've never heard it before.
Okay. Anyway, that's Ronnie, and we love talking with her. As you know, she's terrific. She's the best. Okay, let me see here. Here comes the boring part of the show. Oh boy. Let me see here. Let me turn on Skype. See, I can't turn on Skype ahead of time because some people call it, in spite of the fact that it says I'm not there. But it says we're there now. So now it's your turn to call us, okay? And if you don't know how to call us using Skype, just go to gabnet.net and look over on the right-hand side of the page. There's a whole column that teaches you and shows you how to use Skype and how to call us on Skype and to be part of the citizen panel. The question is anybody going to call today? Oh boy, it's been a slow week this week. Well, I only did one show. That was last night, and it was kind of slow, I think we're running out of people who are interested in talking. That's what I'm beginning to think. So, whatever. Let me see here. Is anybody getting ready to call me at all? Let's see. I think Charlie Wallace, it looks like he says he's a missed call. Well, but here he is now. He's not missed now. He's definitely there, and it's the first time we've heard from him this week because he's going to be in an entirely different place. Here, let them see you. Got to find you a little niche here. Okay, there we go. And there's Charlie Wallace, ladies and gentlemen, formerly from Arizona, now back in Texas.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Austin, Texas.
And you got the video and everything working all right, huh?
Yeah, first thing I did was hook up my computer. I just got the internet on about 3 hours ago.
Yeah, and is it fast? Is it robust?
As far as I can tell, I've only had it for 3 hours.
Well, we'll find out. You look like you're much smoother than you've been in the past.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in a different city in a different state, so maybe it's better here.
Well, you're definitely in a different state of mind,
Yep.
being in Texas. Although, people want to put down Texas because they think of it as being this red state, okay? And yet, I'm telling you, I liked Texas when I lived there. It was really cool. And I lived there in the days when they had the what do you call it? The bars. What do they call those things? The beer bars or whatever. And I just, huh? Do they still have a thing where in order to get hard liquor you have to belong to a club?
In certain states, like in Williamson County, north of Austin, it's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like that in Houston. It was like that everywhere at one point, where you would go into a club, you would go into one of these clubs, and then the hostess or the person serving you would give you a temporary membership card.
Yeah.
And you would have the temporary membership card, and then you could drink hard liquor. Now, if you just wanted beer, there were beer lounges. And
Yeah.
you could go to the beer lounge. Now, do those two things exist still, or are they no longer?
Only in places like where they have to have the membership and all that.
Mhm.
In Austin, there's really no beer lounges. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
you get whatever.
was there ever the beer lounge situation in Austin?
It might have been, and not since I first came to Austin in '74, and
Yeah.
hadn't been like that since then.
You see, I was in Houston in 64, 65, somewhere around in there. And at that point, they still had the clubs, the drinking
See, I
clubs.
only know about that because Round Rock, just north of Austin, is like that.
Yeah.
If I lived in Round Rock, I'd have to join a club.
Well, it used to be that the whole state was basically a dry state, except for beer. And so if you wanted to have a drink, an alcoholic drink, you had to belong to a club. So that's what that
Yeah.
was all about. Yeah. So anyway, you may notice it's just you and me.
Wow.
This is what it's
Yeah,
come
I'm glad I
to.
called. I almost didn't because I am worn out. My son and I spent all day today unloading that big cube that my stuff came to Texas in.
Yeah. Did it get there
I'm just
okay? Did it
worn
get
out.
there in good shape?
Yeah, nothing's broken. I mean, I wish I had known about that before. This is a great way to move.
Yeah.
I mean, I drove my own car here. I didn't have to worry about towing my car behind a big truck like I did when I moved to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So it was wonderful.
So
And
what
I
you
got
do-
Great gas mileage in my car.
What you do is you buy these pods, right?
Well, you rent them, yeah.
You
You
rent
rent a pod, and they it could actually end up costing less than if I had rented a truck and
Uh-huh.
driven myself in the truck.
Yeah, yeah. So, how much did it? How much? I think I asked you this before. How much did it cost?
It was $760, everything. That includes their gas for driving the pod to Austin from Mesa, Arizona.
$760?
Right, but renting the truck alone cost $750, and I still would have had to pay for the gas in the truck to get here.
Right.
So it
So,
would've-
so how much can you put in this pod, or did you get a
I
couple
was
of them?
shocked. I tell you what I put in. I put in 52 boxes of books,
Mhm.
30 boxes of CDs and LPs and DVDs, my stereo cabinet, my dresser, my telescope. I have an 8-inch telescope. I put that in there, and my bed. I have a full-size bed that fit in there,
Mhm.
and God, just what all of. I mean, all my dishes on my kitchen table, all in this 6x7 by 8-foot box.
Wow.
It's just amazing.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
15 bookcases. Of course, I dismantled the bookcases, but 15 bookcases fit in there with all these books and stuff.
It won't take long, Charlie, till we're in a 24-foot by 72-inch box. I mean, 24 inches by 72 inches, and maybe
Yeah.
24 inches high
Oh,
with
okay.
a split lid.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Phil.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we all got to go sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like you live in a pretty modern place there. Is that a new place you rented, or is that some place that you?
No, it's rented, but I mean, no, this is about a 30-year-old apartment complex. But it's gorgeous. It's out in this nice, quiet place,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not too far from the highway, so I can get to Austin. I can get to the mall. I can get anywhere within like 10 minutes. It's great.
Right. Wow. And they give you good internet service. You're breaking up a little bit, but not bad. So
Okay, I don't notice it here, so yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's been great so far. I only had it for about 3 hours, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it does in the long run.
So
Did you get a one-bedroom there?
Yes,
yeah.
it's just me.
How do the rents compare to Mesa?
It's a little more expensive here in Austin. About $100 more for the same apartment I could have gotten in Mason.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not bad. So how much is that a month?
You want me to tell everything?
Yeah.
I pay $835 a month.
Oh my God. That's almost what I'm paying.
I know. You're a gigantic
Hey,
over there.
have you found out what you're going to be paying if you're going to be staying, and what the story is? Has the thing gone to trial?
Oh, that got moved up to December.
Huh.
Yeah, it was what it was supposed to be this month, September.
Yeah. That's what
And then it got moved to December because one of the lawyers' mothers had to have a heart operation or something. So once again, it's held off again, you know.
So that
Never-ending
letter
story.
about the heart operation, how much did it cost you?
What?
The letter.
No, I didn't. No, it's one of the lawyers.
I know. Well, when the lawyer goes on vacation, you get a letter and you get a bill.
No, it wasn't our lawyer.
Doesn't matter.
Wasn't our lawyer, it was their lawyer.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, they did do enough talking, setting up this whole thing that was supposed to happen in September, that it cost us a pretty penny, and nothing happened. You know.
Yeah.
And they get paid anyway, by the way, you know.
Yeah. I really think they're just trying to see if you're at the end of your rope and they can get you to back off. You know,
obviously, no. The landlords for this building are known for that tactic of trying to literally starve you out, as it were.
Yeah.
You know, by doing one thing and another and asking for one thing and another. That's why we're worried that no matter what happens at this trial, they're going to lose probably, and then they'll appeal, and that's 2 years.
Right.
Okay, and more money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do I think I'm going to be paying? What do I think I'm going to be paying for rent here?
Yeah.
Our lawyer thinks somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 a month.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he thinks. He says that that there's a
For
good
New York,
case.
that's excellent.
Well, there's a good case to be made for the fact that they never registered this place enough over the years that when they finally did, they did so and overestimated the amount, and that it was a whole canard, as it were, and that they should actually, our lawyer believes that the rent should be rolled back to the 2003 price before they ever registered it. They didn't register it till 2011. The last time they did it was in 2003, and it was $500 a month.
Well, you know what I wonder? When I got divorced, there's a computer program that all attorneys use called a Dissomaster. And that, they look at different things. Oh, she hasn't worked in 23 years.
But this isn't that.
No, but what they did is this Dissomaster determines what your child support and your alimony is going to be, and the judge goes with, everybody goes with Dissomaster. I'm just wondering if they've got a thing for the rentals in New York where
if they did, Phil, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is something that a judge has got to have this stuff presented to him.
Yeah.
And we have a whole presentation, what can I call it? Wasn't it? Is it a letter? What did he make up? It was a
draft.
No, it was a memorandum. It's called a memorandum, and it's the whole case as he sees it. It cost us $12,000 for him to write this thing up, but it's a work of art, and it lays out our case. And I just sit there every now and then. I'll just read it so I can feel good. Yeah. Because I just cheer as I'm reading it. No, I mean, it's not a matter that we are, that we're not the people that are going to have to suffer in all of this.
Yeah.
There's no way we're leaving this apartment. Unless we get a judge that's so fucking corrupt that he can be bought off, and I don't think that's the case.
Do you know who your judge is, right?
I think we do. Yeah, we know who it's going to be. Yeah.
And your attorney, he was in what was his feelings on the judge that you're going to get?
No, I don't think he has had any feelings, but he does
No.
have a good feeling. He does have a good feeling about our case, and it's not because he wants to win. He's even been told by the other lawyers that really the people they're going to have to settle with most of all are us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the other lawyers have even agreed with that. That we've got and then when it was in mediation, the judge involved in the mediation said, as a matter of record, the only people that have done nothing wrong in this scenario have been Mr. Schwarzman and Ms. Miller.
Yeah.
And they are the innocent parties here. He said that.
Yeah. Very nice.
So we'll have to see. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I'll probably be dead before this thing ever gets settled.
Well, that's a good thing. If you live to 100 and you don't have to pay rent, considering that you're a pensioner,
A pensioner?
Yeah. Well, with
Thank
this
you
Brexit
very much.
talk.
And you're an asshole. Okay, I'm a
with all
pensioner
this
and you're an
Brexit
asshole.
talk, if you listen to the MPs and the things that are going on in Parliament, you pick up these words.
Yeah. Well, what's happening there is insane.
Yeah.
But Boris Johnson will be out of there within a month.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in the Parliament is starting to wear the same hairstyle he has. Have you noticed that?
No.
Yeah, it's like they all got this hair. They toss it around. Nobody combs their hair in the.
No,
in England.
he's out of there. He's not going to make Brexit happen, and he's going to have to step down.
He's got a month?
No,
a little over a month.
No, you're thinking of what's his name.
It's October 31st.
You're thinking of Israel. That
No,
he's got a month.
No, he's right.
Yeah,
Brexit's
it's
gotta
October
be
31st.
Brexit's a month too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And,
so everybody will be out at the same time.
Trump might even be out at the same time.
You guys are listening to MSNBC too much.
He admitted to a crime.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Biden
Yes, he did. He admitted
did.
talking to
Phil,
what's his name?
stop with the Biden shit, because to begin with, Biden is not the president of the United States. All right, but Trump is, and Trump has literally. What are you doing? Are you getting myopic again?
Blinders.
No, those are your blinders.
Yeah.
You're like the rest of those other Republican fucks in the Senate who are giving this guy a free pass when really what they should be doing is hanging up on a petard and getting themselves somebody in there who can best represent the Republican Party.
Yeah. Well,
with honor.
Well, I think he is.
Well, you can think all you want to, Phil, but this thing is an absolute criminal act that he just.
All he did was ask to have a criminal act investigated.
No. He was asking for pressure to be put on in various areas, and to make life miserable for Joe Biden. Now, why he even does this kind of thing is beyond me. There are a lot of people in this world who have been prone to failure based upon their own demons. The one I remember the most was
Nixon.
Richard Nixon, who literally could take any winning situation and turn it into a losing situation because he got the can't waits. Okay?
Yeah.
And you have the same kind of situation here with somebody who suddenly decides, I've got to make sure that Biden has trouble because he may be my competitor. Fuck it.
No,
you don't do that. Well, you don't believe it, Phil, but it's true. It's there. It's as plain as the nose on your face, Phil. And if you can't see it, you're an idiot.
Well,
His
it's
released
the
transcript shows it.
It's
It
the
shows
Dems that
just
have
him
the
asking for what's his name to investigate Biden. Just him asking him to do that is a federal crime, and he admitted it that he asked him to do that.
We'll see what happens.
And now it turns out, the whistleblower may be
CIA agent.
the CIA agent. What's
Well,
more trustworthy than that?
Not too many.
What do you mean, not too many? You don't trust the CIA? Who do you trust, Phil?
Well, I trust.
You trust Barr, don't you? That
Yes.
fuck. You trust the Justice Department, which is so corrupt now, it's ridiculous.
I think what's corrupt is the House rushing to judgment before they had anything. They come to the party and say he's guilty, he's this, he's that. They didn't have anything. This is nothing more than an overreach by the Democrats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's done
And
far
when
more
the-
than
and when the
Clinton
egg
ever
is on
did.
their
Look at what
face-
the
Yeah.
Republicans
Well, just
did to
remember
Clinton.
this. I don't want to see any more shit about Biden and what he did at another date.
You
okay?
told me to send it to you.
Well, I watched it. And you sent me something that was only part of what he was saying.
Well, I sent you the full one, and then I found one which was the part that I wanted you to see. So yeah, I won't send you anything else on it. I don't give a shit.
All I'm saying
because you guys-
is, it doesn't matter about Biden. Biden is not the president of the United States. Trump is, and Trump acted in a way that is not right. Okay,
can't
and tell
defend
me
himself?
it isn't right, Phil. Tell me, how can you sit there and tell me that what he did was good and proper and honest?
It doesn't reach the level of impeachment.
It reached
Just
the
ask
level of
Tulsi Gabbard.
mafia don. Okay,
That-
he was acting like a gangster.
Nah, if he was acting like a gangster, he would have taken out Biden's kneecaps. What he did.
He was trying to
he's been
kneecap
attacked.
Biden's attempt at being president of the United States. Yes,
Well,
he was
there's
trying
no
to.
way.
He was trying to get the Ukraine to fix the election for him.
Biden fixed it for himself. If you see,
Biden
what
has
Biden
nothing
said-
to do with this, Phil, because he's not president of the United States. When he's
And he never
president,
will be.
if he does get to be president of the United States, then you can yell and scream about Biden. But right now, this man is president of the United States, and he's not acting like a president of the United States should act.
And he can't be a whistleblower on a guy like Biden, who, when he was vice
He
president,
can't
of the
be a
United States,
whistleblower on
represented
Biden
the
because he
president.
wasn't there when it happened.
It was on tape.
Yes,
watched it.
yes, but what was he saying? He was talking about something that they were trying to do because they were trying to get rid of this prosecutor because nobody liked this prosecutor. Even the people who ran the government didn't like this prosecutor.
Right, because he was investigating corruption, and he was investigating Biden's son.
No, he wasn't investigating corruption. They
yeah.
say that he was corrupt.
Well, that's what that's the same kind of thing that you peddle.
That was a
against
multi-country panel that wanted that prosecutor out. That wasn't just Biden. There was 5
Yeah,
or 6
because
countries involved.
You had a lot of people that were on the take, and they all wanted
No,
the guy out.
Phil, how do you know they were on the take? Can you prove that?
$50,000 a month to Biden's kid.
Wait a minute.
He sits
Wait a
on
minute.
a
No,
board.
wait a minute. Forget that. That has nothing to do with it.
That's what the whole thing
That has
all
nothing
about.
to do with it, Phil. That has nothing to do with it. The fact that Biden's kid gets a job for $50,000, God bless him.
Yeah, he's sitting on a board.
Phil,
of an
you're
energy
trying to
company he
parse
knows
this
nothing
thing.
about.
You're
The
trying
guy's
to
a
you're
coach
trying to
freak.
shoot at ghosts that aren't there.
Right.
Yeah.
There's lots of Republican kids that get paid more than that.
What about? Okay, so but maybe they
No,
do.
it's not a crime for your kid to get a job paying $50,000 a month. or
It
whatever
is if
was.
they're buying the vice presidency. If the oligarchs and the Russians and the Ukrainians are buying the vice presidency of
And
the
there
United
is no
States, it's
there is
crime.
no proof that he
It was
was selling
quid
out the vice
pro-
presidency.
Whoa, well, he did.
There is no
His
there's
son
no
got
proof
the
of
money.
that at all. There's no evidence of that whatsoever.
Well, we'll see about that. And if
We've lost
Biden-
audience since you
Fine,
started
then
talking,
you go ahead
Phil.
and have a commission to set up to investigate that, but that doesn't deny what happened to Trump.
Yeah,
What Trump's done.
a guy by the name of Kevin writes here, Phil, whatever Biden did or didn't do doesn't allow Trump to do what he did.
Oh,
Exactly.
well, Trump is just
Exactly.
defending himself. He took his personal attorney and said, "Find out where this Russia thing started." And
When
that's
did
where it started.
Rudy Giuliani become a diplomat?
Yeah.
He's diplomat. Why not?
No, but he's not.
Well, he's a private.
He hasn't been
attorney
vetted. He hasn't been vetted
He's
as
a
a
private
diplomat,
citizen.
Phil.
representing Donald Trump.
He's representing him in legal matters, Phil.
Right.
Not
Personal matters, yes, not presidential matters. Personal matters.
Well, it's personal to him that these guys are coming after him.
because
You know?
because he's thin-skinned and takes everything personally.
Biden's not coming after him except in the election.
Not anymore.
By the way, I'm going to tell everybody that if we don't get more callers within 5 minutes, I'm probably going to shut this down.
Okay.
You know.
Sleep anyway.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you drive, Charlie?
No.
Did you drive? Why?
I'm not driving tonight.
No,
I'm
no. When
already
you
here.
came out, when you came from Arizona to Texas, did you drive your car or did you fly or?
Yeah, I drove my car.
Yeah.
They brought all my furniture in the cube, and I drove my car.
How long did it take?
It took 2 days, about 15 hours, so about 7, 8 hours each day.
Yeah.
You could have done it in one shot if you wanted to, right?
I could have, but I might have fallen asleep and run into a tree too. So
Well, yeah, we don't want that to
Of course.
happen. You know.
Yeah. Now, I remember driving
That was
across
the first
Texas. When I moved to California, I drove from Miami to San Francisco, and I took the southern route. And it was 24 hours across Texas. And I was moving.
yeah,
Yeah.
Texas is big.
I got to Arizona, and the gas crisis was on, and I couldn't buy gas. So I pulled into a KOA campsite, and they said, "Are you camping here?" I said, "Yes." Okay, well then you can buy 5 gallons, and I bought the 5 gallons, and I was able to get to the California border. But
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been joined by Charlene. Hello, Charlene. How are you?
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, yeah. I still need a few more people for me to keep this going, you know.
By
But
the way, gas prices in Texas are about 70 cents a gallon lower than in Arizona.
wow.
really, that much?
Yeah.
During the
Yeah.
gas crisis, when I was in Arizona that time, I paid 75 cents a gallon, and I thought it was highway
Well,
robbery.
how much were you paying in Arizona, Charlie?
Arizona's paying about $3.29 a gallon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about $2.50 a gallon here.
Wow.
Is that your new house or apartment there, Charlie?
Yeah.
Beg pardon?
Is that your new house or your apartment there, Charlie?
My new apartment, yeah. Yeah. I haven't even unpacked yet. We barely just got stuff into the apartment.
Looks nice. Is it hot there?
Yeah, in fact, it's been hotter in Austin than it was in Arizona.
You're bringing the warming with you.
Yeah, that must be it. It was 100 degrees today here, and it's almost October.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we do have some open lines, folks. I don't know. It's just been very slow lately, and you know, I'm beginning to think that I should take every Tuesday off, and every Wednesday, and every Thursday, and every Friday.
So you scared me. I called.
Huh?
I said, you scared me. You're not here on Tuesday anymore. I said, oh my God, he's going to leave.
Well, I would like to be here on Tuesday. Well, we'll get back to the Trump because I just, you know, I've gotten to the point where I just don't like to hear anybody who thinks they can defend the actions of this guy who is he's just not representing us as a decent, fine human being.
He's representing Trump.
He cares about Trump. He's doing the business of Donald Trump. And
last night you were saying he's acting like he's in The Godfather, like he's a mafia guy or something, you know?
Yeah.
well, he's acting like a gangster, you know, this former comedian who's the head of the Ukraine is like his toady, you know,
Mhm.
and in fact he came out complaining today. Where is it? Complaining. If I have it here. Well, wait a minute. Yes, he bristled at the release of his comments from a private conversation with U.S. President Donald Trump, which caused him some embarrassment at home. The rough transcript of Trump's call with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, released on Wednesday, shows that Trump pressed the Ukraine to look into his Democratic political rival Joe Biden. The July 25th call is now at the center of the U.S. impeachment probe. I think such conversations between heads of independent states, they shouldn't be published. Zelensky told reporters at the UN General Assembly in New York. He didn't indicate whether the White House warned him that his comments would be released. During the conversation, Zelensky appears to make an effort to stay in Trump's good graces, telling him at least twice that he is absolutely right and assuring Trump they are great friends. Yes, Phil.
That's incorrect. He asked him to look into Hunter Biden, not Joe Biden.
Whatever Zelensky said here, he said, I'm just simply quoting Zelensky.
Yeah, I heard the transcript, and it was read.
It doesn't
on,
matter about the transcript. This is what Zelensky said, Phil. Whether he was right or wrong in what he said.
I heard what Trump supposedly said, and it was that he asked him to look into Hunter Biden, not Joe Biden.
All I'm saying is that it said here that, anyway, we're making small. The fact is, the President of the United States is acting like a fucking thug and doing business for himself with world leaders to help his election campaign. How do you feel about that, Phil?
Well, if I had one of those drum beats, bada boom, the guy's a comedian. Bottom line is, Trump, I don't think did anything wrong. Tulsi Gabbard said that she feels that this doesn't meet the grounds for impeachment, and the Democrats are.
You got one fucking person who says
no,
it
there's
doesn't.
there's
another Democrat. Okay, fine. There's another Democrat. There also happen to be 212. What is it? 212 Democrats that feel that impeachment is a possibility.
Yeah.
No, it was 150. I think.
No, it's up to 212, something like that. They need what? 216, 218, something like that.
218, I think.
Yeah.
Let them go for it. They haven't voted yet. All this is hot air. When they vote, and those 30 have to go back to the
Phil,
areas that Trump
you're
won.
defending a criminal. Okay.
He's not. Yeah. Okay.
Well, those defenders of Trump have to go back to their constituents and get voted. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm ready. Just send Joe and his son my way.
Oh, come on, Phil. He's ready to lock him up, like Hillary. They were going to lock her up.
Yeah, lock her up. Yeah, Hillary.
It's funny how
now,
people shouting "lock her up" or in prison.
Didn't he also ask that guy from? It was the Ukraine, right? He
Yeah.
asked him if he knew where her server was or something like that too. Right? So he had to bring Hillary up.
They had to bring Hillary up
Old
again. Yeah,
news.
he can't let old dogs lie. He can't.
Did you hear Hillary tonight? She's saying that that he didn't win the election, that he suppressed voters, that he did all sorts of things, and that's why she lost. She still is delusional.
Phil, she had 3 million votes more than he did. He did not win a popular vote. America, on a popular basis, did not want him to be president of the United States. This was a whole thing that was Jimmy rigged by using the Electoral College and
So yours delusional.
gerrymandering and things like that. Not that that you feel your vote should count, Phil.
It did.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't, Phil.
Because I put a vote out there. I don't care if in California they didn't vote for him. I did
Phil,
what I did.
what I'm saying is the 3 million people, and that's a lot of people, did not voted for Hillary over him. She
That's
simply
great.
lost because of the Electoral College, which has been gerrymandered for years now, to where it doesn't even become a decent. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me finish. A decent reflection of the body politic. The fact of the matter is that 3 times, I think, in the last 20 years, we have had electoral votes beating out the popular vote, and something there has got to be changed.
Well, this is the way it is.
No, don't
and,
say
and
this
she
is
lost fair and square.
No, she didn't. She did not lose the popular vote, but she
Doesn't
hasn't been.
matter.
Wait a minute, but she hasn't been going around grousing about that as much as Trump has kept going after her for absolutely nothing. It's over. It's over, Donald. Just
I
let
thought this was a representative republic. It's not the popular vote. It's a representative republic where states.
I vote, and if all the people that vote with me have the most votes for somebody, that person should win. This is what happened in high school when we held an election in high school. Wait a minute, they didn't say, oh, the people who are in that part of the building have so many votes, and the people in this part. No, it's whoever got the most votes became class president.
But this is states, and that's the way it was set up.
No, Phil, you like it because it only worked in your favor. If the last time it had worked in Hillary's favor, you'd be griping about it right now.
I like hanging Chad, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Charlene?
yes, Charlene.
Well, that was the first thing he did. I mean, the day he came into office, that happened. Then he lied about his crowd size at the inauguration. It's just been one thing after another. I don't know how many incidents there have been, and it started to look like he was going to get away with anything. And I think he thought he was going to get away with anything. Look at what he did. He called the guy.
Well, so far,
again.
So far, Charlene, he has gotten away with anything.
I know, and I'm hoping that something is going to finally happen, because I can't even believe that this happened now. I mean, finally, something happened that Nancy Pelosi. Because he's just been getting away with it, and it's not funny anymore. Didn't your ex-wife? She said that it's not funny anymore. Like, it used to be a little amusing. It's not funny now. It's just disgusting that we have this guy in here and he's acting like a thug, and he's getting away with it. And he was going to do it again in this election, the same thing again. Rig the whole election again, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's going to be funny, Alice? We have to wait to see. What if he went after Biden like this, right? And jeopardized himself so bad. What if Biden isn't even the candidate finally in the end, right?
Yeah.
So it's terrible. It's terrible. It's horrible.
But this guy has gotten away with it.
Tony just called in and now he walked away.
He always says that.
He's probably realized how insane this conversation is.
He wants us to see his little hutch too,
Phil,
not just the wallpaper. You see that little hutch over there.
Yeah. If you feel that the Biden did something illegal, then you have to believe that Trump did something illegal.
No, that's syllogistic reasoning.
No, it isn't syllogistic reasoning.
No.
Your reasoning is muddled.
It was used by Hitler.
What? It was used by Hitler?
Yeah, syllogistic reasoning was a Hitler ploy.
Explain syllogistic reasoning.
Well, if I do this, then therefore you've done that. Right.
Well, isn't that what Trump's saying?
No, we're not saying that the reason you did that was because I did this.
Yeah, he wanted the Ukrainian guy to help him out because he was going to help him out if he did something for him.
Why in the world, at this point, would you want to even enter into getting Biden or getting Hunter Biden about that situation in the Ukraine at this point? What would be the advantage of doing it now? What would be the reasoning for doing it now? Because you want justice?
No, Trump said he didn't want to give this aid. That was like $300 million or something. He didn't want to give it if there was corruption going on in the Ukraine. And he said, if you can show that you're handling the corruption.
And how could he show that?
By going after Hunter Biden.
Okay. All right. So what isn't that a squeeze play, Phil?
That's illegal. the United
Yeah,
States
it's
of America.
politics.
Phil, it's illegal.
That is
It's
illegal.
illegal by law. And then today, this piece of shit suddenly said that whoever helped in getting the information to the whistleblower has committed treason. And you know what we do with traitors?
Yeah, you shoot them.
Yeah, is that really a good idea for a president of the United States to send that message to a gun
sure
to
sounds-
his? Wait a
I
minute,
don't know.
let me finish. To his gun-wielding public?
Yes. I don't know.
Yes. Wait a minute.
how
You
much-
just said yes. Why yes, Phil?
Because I don't know that any of that is true. I have heard so much misinformation
Phil, I
being
heard
attributed to Trump.
today. I heard the recording of him saying that himself.
I heard Biden saying that he put the
Phil,
arm on Ukraine for $1 billion.
Biden isn't president. He hasn't been vice president. He hasn't been vice president for many a year now.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, he is not the
What are you,
president of the
pleading
United
a
States.
statute of
We're-
limitations?
when he's president of the United States and he does a criminal act, then you can go ahead and try to impeach him. But right now, we're talking about a man who has the power and he was using it wrong. Okay?
So if you found out that somebody had the power and was using it wrong, you don't call him on the carpet because he doesn't have the power anymore?
Phil, why is he going
You
after
understand what you
Biden
call-
at this point? What advantage does he have in going after Hunter Biden? Why was that so important to him?
Guys,
that
the kid's dead.
he had to.
He's not dead.
He wanted
I
to
thought
do.
he had the son.
Huh? No, that's the
Is-
other son. That's the other son.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Oh,
the
I'm
other
sorry.
son. He has, believe it or not, he has one that's alive. Okay.
Oh,
Not for long.
Yeah.
Is
But
that when Trump's going
He's
out
doing
telling
it
his
because he's
crazy
afraid
people to
of
go shoot
Biden.
him?
what were you saying, Charlie?
He's
Charlie?
afraid that Biden is going to.
Not when Trump is instigating his crazy followers to go shoot him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. Like George Wallace got shot that time, like that, right?
And now we have Biden out on the stump, going from town to town, and maybe some guy with a gun says, "Hey, the Trump said we should kill the traitors."
Yeah, Benedict Arnold, right?
You know, I mean, you should have more responsibility as president. He has no,
Right, he
you know
just
what he
says
has,
these
Phil?
things
He
like
has no
that.
concept of what being president of the United States is about. That not only are you the leader of a country, and not only are you making decisions for a country, but you're the moral tone of the country as well. And he is a terrible, terrible moral arbiter.
Depends on what you think the right morals are.
Well,
I
if
mean,
the right
anytime
if the
something
right
has to be
morals
said,
are
he
threatening
blows it.
people, if the right morals are twisting arms, if the right morals are telling your people that hey, these kind of guys should be shot, then I suppose he's a very moral human being.
Well, you say you heard this. I didn't hear it.
I heard the recording of him saying it.
Hey, and you say it's probably,
Phil,
that any
Phil,
recording that I produce
heard a
is
recording.
out of context.
I heard a recording of him talking to a group of people and telling them that whoever the whistleblower was helped by is a traitor, and you know what we do with traitors. Am I right, Charlie? You heard? Did you hear the recording?
The president of the United
I didn't
States
hear
should
the
be
recording,
able.
Phil, we heard. No, he
The
shouldn't.
president should be able to have a conversation with another head of state without.
You're changing the topic,
some-
Phil. We were talking.
No, I'm
wait,
telling
we
you,
were
the
talking.
guy
we were
is a
talking.
traitor.
We were talking. How's he a traitor?
Because he leaked information to the CIA agent or a possible CIA
A whistleblower.
agent. Whistleblower.
Whistleblower. Yeah.
That sounds like
Is
a
that?
mafia
Not the
Wait a minute. Wait a
whistleblower
minute.
is not
That's
a
not.
traitor.
That's not a traitor. That's a hero.
I said the whistleblower
Yep.
wasn't the traitor.
No,
the traitor was the person who was supposed to keep the information.
He was a hero as well.
confidential.
He's a hero
But-
as well.
He means that guy that was.
You don't know what a hero
testifying,
is,
right?
Phil. But then again, you wouldn't know. You were never in the military.
Yeah.
That guy that was testifying, the Navy SEAL guy, is that who he means is the
No.
traitor?
No.
You mean McGuire? He's the no. He was a good guy. The admiral that's now the.
I felt kind of sorry for him today because
They beat him up.
No, it wasn't that they were beating him up. As I watched him, he kind of looked to me like the kind of guy who this just wasn't his his place to be. He wasn't a public person. He wasn't a public speaker or any of that. Now he was being called to account in this situation. He's only the acting, right?
He's only been there. He was only there what, 4 days
Since
before he
August
got this thing.
16th.
Yeah. So I mean, he almost seemed like, you know, this really isn't my the place that
Some of those Republicans really try to grill him. You know, the ones that are Trump
did a good job.
You know,
He
they
did
think that
he
Trump
did a
is
good
the-
job. But what I'm saying, here's what bothered me about those hearings. Okay, I'm so tired of this partisanship. You know, I wanted to hear one Republican just ask a decent question,
Right.
an investigative kind of question.
The one guy kept talking about the spin. Oh, now they're going to put a spin on it and everything.
Yeah, all they were doing were
they
giving
put the
little
spin.
Republican speeches rather than saying, well, I want to learn just like everybody else here, and then ask him some questions. It was only the Democrats that were asking him questions. You know, and I would like to see, if we're going to start having these hearings, that they care about getting at the truth as well. You know, and this guy wasn't there to beating a drum for something. He was just there to tell the story. And the
He
Republicans weren't inquisitive enough to want to find out what it was all about.
I didn't hear.
McGuire
anything.
actually said that if he had known all of this was coming down the pike, he would not have taken the job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny actually. He says, yeah, if they would have told me that I had to deal with this, yeah, I wouldn't have taken the job.
Yeah, but anyway, you know,
Because he says he's not a politician. He's a public servant. He's not a politician.
you know, part of me
45 years.
Part of me says I don't even want to talk about this shit because I'm so sick of it, and talking about it doesn't get anything done. Okay,
It's true.
The Republicans, I hope they have to pay the price for all of this come the next election cycle. You know,
We'll see. I think it's the Democrats that are going to pay the price.
I don't think so. No,
No,
but
I think it's going to be a landslide.
for
The
Trump.
Democrats are going to win at least 45 states.
there is enough. Let's face it. There are 3 million votes out there waiting to beat him again. But there's also a whole new group of voters out there who didn't get what they thought they were going to get from Trump. The reason a lot of people
Yep.
voted for Trump was really they didn't want to vote for Hillary. And they figured, what do we have to lose? Well, I got news for you. Look at what's happening. You had a lot to lose.
Yep.
All right. I don't. There's a very easy path to winning for the Democrats because they already had the votes. They just need to line them up in places where they didn't have them before. Yes, Charlene.
It's funny though, isn't it? Like very similar to Watergate. Because wasn't Nixon running, and that's the whole thing with Watergate. He didn't trust himself the way Trump doesn't trust himself. And he sent those plumbers in, right? And they burglarized the Democratic.
Here's what happened.
offices.
Here was Nixon's problem. Nixon had a history, even going back to college, of taking a winning situation and turning it into a loser.
Right.
He was at Whittier College, and he was about to graduate at the top of his class, okay? But the night before they were going to come out with the names of the people and the listings of the class, he broke in to look at the numbers. He got caught and almost wasn't allowed to graduate, let alone find out what his number was. He immediately was taken off the list. Okay, and this kind of psychological behavior followed him throughout his entire career.
Right.
Yeah.
He kept fucking up winning situations,
It was a big fuck up.
and in this case, he did it once again.
Like
Okay.
taping his conversation so they had evidence.
Well, it
to
wasn't
trust
even so
A lot
much
of people
that,
did
but
that.
there was no reason for him to have people go in to the Democratic
Right. He was
National
doing
Committee.
okay, and he-
Yeah, he's going
He-
to win in a landslide anyway.
He was. Gonna,
I don't
yeah.
think he ordered them to go in. He just was loyal and tried to
Oh,
protect
God.
them.
No.
afterwards.
He
Well, he ordered.
he okayed the break-in, Phil.
Yeah.
It's pretty well assumed.
God, where were you during Watergate, Phil? Please.
His head was in the same.
I was a Nixon supporter.
His head was in the same acre of sand that it's in right now with this president.
Right.
But the fact is
But this guy's worse than Nixon.
well, this guy is pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a
Right.
guy who will do anything to win, and that includes corruption. That includes getting the Russians to help you, or getting the Ukrainians to help you, or trying to discredit your competitors. I mean, he'd be better off by trying to get the goods on Elizabeth Warren, or get the goods on a couple of other people before Biden, because I don't know that Biden's going to stay the course.
Right.
Biden
right.
won't.
That's what's so
Nope.
weird.
And Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are not electable.
I think Elizabeth Warren is far more electable than you
I think you're wrong.
No, she just screams.
No,
and
she doesn't
She's done
scream.
nothing.
She doesn't scream.
I can't wait.
Wait a minute.
For her
Wait a
to try
minute.
to come
When
up
have you
against
ever
Trump.
heard her scream?
Every time she talks.
No, she doesn't scream.
She sounds angry.
No.
And she's come up with 20,000 plans. What are you talking about plans?
Yeah, and all her
She has
plans are
for
pie in the
everything.
sky. They're all pie in the sky.
The
They're all
Consumer
bullshit.
Financial
And she's
Protection
lying.
Bureau is
She's
not pie in
lying
the
to
sky.
you. If you think those plans are going to become reality, you're smoking
The
something.
CPFB did.
CPFB.
CFP. Yes, the Consumer Financial Protection Board. That became reality, and it got billions of dollars back for consumers.
Yeah, great. Yeah, she was a consumer advocate. I got news for you. There is no way that this is going to be another McGovern. If
No,
Elizabeth
not at
Warren or
all.
Bernie Sanders, you got another McGovern coming. If they get 2 electoral votes, they'll be lucky.
Nope.
Phil, to begin
Trump
with,
would be lucky to get to elect-
She
Elizabeth.
won't
Trump
even
will
win
be lucky not to
Massachusetts.
No, Elizabeth Warren is going to get the women's vote. There's no question about it. And she's going to get the liberal vote. Now, what she's got to get is that group of people in the middle, because they're the only ones that really make a difference in any election. And I think she can get them. I've heard her speak. She's converted me. I was never an Elizabeth Warren fan. But every time I heard her speak, I heard somebody speaking who knew her stuff much better than anybody else, and she can explain most things better than any of the other candidates. And I don't think she's going to let your boy get away with shit. I mean, if he starts doing his shark attack like he did on that stage at the second debate with Hillary, if he started following Elizabeth Warren around, she would fucking tell him to sit his ass down.
He doesn't have to. Elizabeth Warren will hang herself. And, Hillary was a better candidate than Elizabeth Warren's.
You're talking about a candidate that you don't really know that well. You just look upon her as, that liberal Elizabeth Warren. The fact is, I have watched this woman as a liberal, okay, and watched her and seen her work her way into my good graces simply by the force of ideas and the force of her own belief in things.
You just want to be lied to. I don't see how. You know that everything she's talking about is total bullshit. It's never going to come to pass. What do you want somebody like that that's just selling pie in the sky?
Universal
It's
health
2
care.
chickens in every pot.
Tell me about the pie in the sky she's selling, Phil.
Bullshit.
Tell me.
It
me
was
an
2
example.
chickens in every pot.
No, forget about it.
This one's going to be free this and free
No,
that.
give me an
free
example.
healthcare
Give me
for
an
all.
example.
I believe that her platform is she wants Medicare for all, and she wants to forgive. She wants to forgive all student debt.
Mm-hmm.
She has a very similar
We
platform.
forgave the bank debt
They didn't
in
forgive the
2008.
bank
We
debt.
forgave that. Why can't we forgive student debt?
No, they didn't forgive the bank debt. They stole
Hell, they
people's
didn't.
homes. They stole their homes. They let them get
Oh, they
involved
didn't.
in
They
buying
forgave-
them, and then banks stole them.
Trillions of dollars in bank debt.
I remember guys talking in the gym in the morning. They were buying 500 homes at a time in clusters through the bankruptcies. Not the bankruptcies. When they were taking the homes from the foreclosures. That was a scam, and the government was in on it.
Mm-hmm. Who was
And,
president at the time?
Obama.
No,
No, that was Bush.
No, Bush.
it was Bush.
It started under Bush, but
No, it was
finished under
Bush.
Obama.
Yeah, because Obama had to take the problem and solve it, and he did.
Yeah, so people weren't losing their houses.
No, they lost their houses.
No, but
They're-
but
he
some
solved
people
the
did.
problem, but he simply inherited it, Phil. That situation was created
They had
and
loan
and
modification,
and
stuff like
trademarked
that.
by
they talked about loan modification. Nobody got one.
Some people did.
Yeah,
I
very
worked
few.
in that field during
Phil.
that time.
Whatever you say, the economy you see today started under Obama.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well,
did a lot of
you
things
couldn't
to
go
get
any
it going,
further
yeah.
down. When Obama took over, there was no place to go but up.
And we
The-
kept
the
going
stock
up, and we
market was
kept
at
going up, and
5,000.
we kept going up. Things are kind of turning around, and they're
It
going
could have
down.
stayed down.
We went up at an anemic rate.
No,
At a very
no,
anemic
no,
rate.
I'm sorry, Phil. Anybody want to call up with some figures here? No, you're wrong.
It was 1% a year. And Obama said this is the new way it is. And Trump came in, got rid of many of these onerous regulations.
Like what?
that
Like
Obama-
the ones that kept us from kept us
you see,
breathing.
Obama didn't get
Kept
he
giving us
didn't
decent
rule-
drinking water, Phil. Kept
and like in
Yeah.
Flint. Like in Flint.
Flint happened how many years
That
ago,
was
Phil?
under
That was under Bush.
That was
That
under
was under
Democratic.
No, it was
rule.
under Bush.
No, it was under a Democratic rule. The mayor of Flint, all of those people, Democrats, and they are to blame.
They were taken out of office by the Republican governor Snyder with his super
because they were
prosecutor, whatever.
because of the inept way that they were
Right, and
dealing with
then-
the
and then
situation.
the water got poisoned. That had nothing to do with the Democratic mayor. That was the Republican fucking governor.
No,
that
that
did
was
that.
their choice.
Yeah. By the way,
wasn't their-
Matt Crash writes, Phil is saying pie in the sky, and yet he supports the guy who said Mexico was going to pay for the wall.
Right.
They
right.
will.
Talk about pie in the sky.
They will.
Oh, they will. He's
Yeah.
already admitted they're not going to.
You know, when my father grew up in Brooklyn,
Oh, here we go. Here we
the
go.
tough guys used
Here
to
we
charge
go.
a nickel to get across the street.
Yeah, here we go.
So
When I
my
was a
father
boy.
got together with his friends, and they got 6-inch pieces of rubber hose, and they charged the tough guys a dime to get.
What does that
back.
have to do with what we just said?
Well, it's going to be a similar thing. All these Mexicans are in this country. When they find out they can't work and they want to get back, he'll charge them. You know, they'll pay for the wall.
God.
Oh boy. Well, by the way, good news. Here's something I'm losing faith in. As you know, I was mentioning last night in consumer support, customer support. But I had a deal with Apple because my Mickey Mouse won't give me the time, won't say the time.
Did they call you?
And wait a minute, and Marjorie had the same problem, and a friend of hers who also has an Apple Watch has the same problem as well. All right. So this woman at Apple, who was down in South Carolina or somewhere, the other day when I was talking to her, said, "Well, look, here's what we'll do: is I will check with my department, the watch department, and I'll get back to you. When's a good time for you on Thursday?" And I said 3 o'clock. Okay. Today on the 2nd at 3 o'clock, my phone rings. And it's the woman from South Carolina. I didn't have to wait on the line with the stand to buy music or whatever. And she says, "I just wanted to call you and tell you I haven't gotten anything back from my people yet, but I hope to maybe by tomorrow. So I will call you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we'll see if they have anything. If they don't by then, they I know are working on a modification for the watch operating system that may go out in a couple of days." And that it obviously looks like it's a problem with the operating system because it doesn't happen to 3 different people that you know. She said, so we'll get the problem solved. Mickey shall talk again.
Tim Cook knew you liked that feature,
Yeah,
so he took it out.
yeah. Oh,
And then you can download it as an app, and you can pay $1.99
okay.
if you
Yeah.
want Mickey to talk.
Oh, okay. Was that a joke?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's what Apple does.
Oh, it's what Apple does. I see.
They give you, for a little while, you liked it. You can't get it anymore. You're going to have to download it as an app.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Talking Mickey app.
Yeah. So anyway, I got here's another story that, I'm tired of talking about fucking Trump. Wish he'd just fucking die.
It's like a soap opera, really.
Yeah, that'd be the easy way out, right?
Yeah, but then we get that religious
I
creep.
know.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he took a massive heart attack, Trump, right on live TV?
Oh, it's possible.
Oh.
It's possible. He doesn't look well.
I wonder how they would be like.
He's a
dead?
he's a fat pig. He's waiting to die.
I mean, I would love to see the reaction of the people. Imagine the press starts clapping. I think he's gone.
Yeah, then Pence would have to go too, because
Anyway.
if that happens.
Couple of paranoia stories. Vaping products, one of the fastest growing segments of the legal marijuana industry. Now, why have they suddenly said the legal marijuana industry? Before vaping marijuana ever came into being, it was vaping tobacco that people were kind of doing as a way of not smoking, okay? Although I don't think it was delivering nicotine, so I don't see how it changes the
12 dead now.
12 dead. Out of how many?
I don't know. You can have a death watch.
Wait a
just
minute.
like you
Out
did
of
for
how
the
many?
bridge.
How many? Somebody dies because they were vaping. We don't know that they died directly from vaping. They just say another vapor just died. So we have, what, 11 now? Out of
12.
how many people are vaping in this country at the present time?
12 less.
12 less,
Well,
yeah.
12 dying in a mass shooting is a small number.
You're right. You're right. Compared to a mass
but they're not
shooting.
blowing smoke.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that I think that while any form of smoking is bad, I think this whole thing about them going crazy over this vaping thing. They say, oh, there have been 500 cases of people getting sick from vaping. All right. And I said to Marjorie tonight when they said this on the news, yeah, ever since they started looking for it, I mean, maybe people were getting sick from it before and we didn't know about it. The point is that I don't think it's the vaping in particular.
Marijuana.
I don't think it's the marijuana. I think it's whoever is like in states where marijuana isn't legal or making these cartridges, and
flavors,
putting
the
adulterants in them.
Isn't it the vitamin E? They said that
It's sort of an oil.
it's an oil. Yeah.
Well, there were some people who were vaping vitamin E, and that could be. I mean, that rather than look for the adulterants, which are causing the problem, they're just saying, oh, vaping, period, is bad. All right.
A lot of young people are vaping, and these flavors that they come up with, these nicotine flavors, tobacco flavors like bubble gum and things like that, are there to appeal to younger the youth, and then they get them hooked on nicotine, and eventually they start smoking cigarettes. It's or
Gee,
nicotine.
Phil,
I mean,
let
it just gets them hooked.
let me write that down. I think I did you just think that up yourself, Phil?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, if you indoctrinate them early, I mean, what reasonable person smokes, other than menthol, smokes bubble
Well,
gum
I
flavored?
vape. Okay, I vape marijuana. All right, I found it's really good to put me to sleep at night. The only thing I find it's a little harsh, and these are
So's rubbing one off.
Well, these are flavored marijuanas. Little flavors put into them, which I told Marjorie to try and see if we can find non-flavored ones. But in any event, it is a little rough on the throat, but that's about it. And these things are from a company that's reputable that makes these marijuana cartridges and the vaping pipe themselves. If you buy them from nobody's talking about what if they're reputable. Nobody's talking about, is it the vaping itself that's causing it, or is it the adulterants that are causing it? I suspect it's the adulterants.
Do you take a very deep vape breath
Yes.
when you do it?
Of course.
And maybe it's too much for people's lungs, and you could do too much. I mean, too much of a good thing sometimes is bad.
I don't think so. I do 2 tokes a night. That's it.
Yeah, but
I would do.
I've been in traffic where people were vaping in their car and the window was down like 3/4 of an inch, and there were clouds of smoke.
That is
whatever
smoke.
it is.
That isn't smoke. Phil, that's how much you know about this. You know shit.
I see the clouds.
That's not
coming out of the
smoke,
car.
Phil. That's not
It's
smoke.
not
Or
vaping.
Tell-
vapor, whatever it is.
It's vapor. It is liquid vapor. It is like fog.
Well, maybe this fog is causing people's
No,
lungs
I don't
to
think so. I think that
collapse.
it's whatever they are inhaling into it, because the cartridge is either made in a lot of states, because marijuana isn't legal, are made illegally. They found a lot of illegal labs, in various states. They busted one the other day, big one.
They could be putting all sorts of shit into it
Well, that's
too.
what
They
I'm
could-
saying,
Fentanyl.
Phil. That's what I'm saying, Phil.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
What if-
saying. It's the
yeah.
adult.
So you think they're putting illegal drugs like fentanyl and those
I don't
kinds of
think they're
things?
putting fentanyl in there. No.
All right,
but-
because they just busted a big coke bust, and the coke was laced with fentanyl.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you make drugs illegal.
There's some
Phil,
new
Phil,
drug
that's what
lord.
happens when you make drugs illegal. If you
Well,
make drugs legal and you bring them
yeah.
into a legal framework, then you don't have this illicitness going on and these drugs which are killing people. Coke should not have fentanyl in it. Coke should be cocaine. If you're going to lace it with anything, you lace it with some mannitol and you shit your brains out. Okay? But that's it. But if they are lacing it with other stuff to make it somehow seem better, that's the danger. And the reason they do that is because it's illegal. So why shouldn't they do something illegal in the selling of it?
There's some new drug lord that's come up in Mexico. It's El Maduro or something like that, and they showed this big bust where they had these bricks of coke, and they said that they're laced with fentanyl, which will kill you. And just maybe they're putting it in other stuff. Like
all I'm saying,
vape.
Phil, if we started legalizing all this shit, and I'm including heroin, all of it, we will be saving lives. Okay,
Yep.
because we'd be able to have a legal way for people to get this stuff, and then we would be able to have the government control the dosages, control what was in this stuff, control what adulterants go into it. So I mean,
you've said that some people who do heroin are functional, but most people who do heroin are nothing but criminals and.
You're absolutely wrong, Phil. You're absolutely wrong.
And they're not.
And I'm
functional.
surprised.
They're turning tricks to get it.
Oh boy. Some people who are cocaine users are what we call weekend heroin users, and they have jobs in corporations, and they get high on heroin by snorting it, for instance, as an example. All I'm saying is that I don't care. I don't think we should put a judgment on any of these drugs. We should care more about the American public being safe in the usage of them, and the only way you're going to do that is by making everything legal. Okay?
If they didn't use them, it would be safe.
But then you're not going to stop that, Phil. Don't be naive. Okay?
It's not naive.
No, you're not going to stop
Arrest
people.
them, motherfucker.
You're not going to. Oh yeah, arrest them. That's good. These are people that are simply using a drug. They're not selling it or doing anything else, and you want to arrest them. That's good, Phil.
Well, when they bust into your apartment and they steal your TV set.
When
because
did they bust into your apartment and steal your TV set?
Well, actually, in 1978,
Where?
San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
I lived across the street from the Russian consulate
I
on
see.
Green and
Maybe,
Lyon.
well, maybe it was because it was the communists.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it might have been the communists.
Actually, they were pretty nice. Actually, Walter Haas, he was also my neighbor.
Wally Haas.
He lived across the street. Amy and
where
Amy
in New York?
Haas.
No,
on
What does
Green
it have to
Lion.
do with you being in New York in 1978?
No, this wasn't in New York. This was in San Francisco.
Oh, in San Francisco. Okay. Well, anyway.
You asked me when I got broken into.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you got broken into. You deserve it.
They got a Zenith TV.
They stole my 27-inch TV, and that was a good
Magic
TV
Eye.
back in the day.
Listen, I give them credit because if you can lift one of those fucking 27-inch TV sets and get it out,
I was gonna say,
you deserve to have it,
Wait, we gotta-
and the hernia you got lifting it.
Yeah,
You know.
but they missed a jar of Quaaludes.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a jar of 500.
What?
I had a jar of 500 Quaaludes.
Really? Were you
Yeah.
selling them?
Selling them?
Were you selling them?
No,
You were using them?
is that
I
a
had them.
What do
A
you do?
buddy of mine was selling them. He was friends with the Aurora rep, and he was selling cases of them. And
Is that
he gave me-
illegal? Was that legal or illegal?
No, it was illegal.
And he worked for the cops, Alex, for free. Look at this.
But that was in
Moving on.
78. 77.
Is there a
78.
possibility you stole your own television set?
He might not remember. what happened.
No, actually, I went to
You
Perry.
paid
I had
to
a
get rid of it.
big party at my house,
Mhm.
and I went to Perry's with a girl the next day down on Union Street. I came back, and somebody had broken in and stole my TV, stole a few other things. Missed the Quaaludes, though.
Okay. Well, anyway, all I'm saying, let's get back to the whole vaping thing. By the way, there are 13 people are dead, and it has sickened at least 105 people. But again, I'm going to ask you, how many people in America are vaping right now? Do you figure?
I don't know.
2, 3 million, maybe 4 million?
At least.
Yeah.
No?
Well,
Well,
they
wait
got
a
a
minute,
hard
wait a
on for
minute.
this company, Juul.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. So you're going to tell me that 805 people sickened and 13 people killed constitutes some kind of epidemic?
That's the beginning of an epidemic. They said the same thing about AIDS. You know.
What does AIDS have to do with this, Phil?
Because in the beginning they were ignoring the signals that were going on of people dying from AIDS.
Phil,
That was hard to put together.
You know, if you want to bury your head in the sand, you know, there's a possible epidemic here. There's, you know, smoking's no good for you anyway. So why have something
okay,
that?
Okay. All right. All I'm saying is that I think that to simply go after the vape itself, the vaping devices, is a bit premature in this situation. However, the head of Juul has had to quit the company because of the way he's handling it, and they're trying to not make excuses now. They're trying to change their way of dealing with this. But I just, you know, all I'm saying is I think that we go into a panic. It's like this fear panic that we go into, that all of a sudden, oh my God, 805 people. Well, yeah. And how many people are vaping in this country? And how many times a day do they vape? You know, how many puffs do they take?
You said you take 2, right?
I do
A day?
1 maybe before I go to bed, or maybe I might do 2.
All right.
Yeah.
I see people, you know, because I drive around a lot. I see people constantly vaping. You know, they're in their car.
Yeah, but
The puffs of smoke.
they're vaping tobacco, or are they vaping pot?
I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know.
I know. I see this. I see the mist.
The mist is, you can't tell by the mist because it puts out volumes of mist.
But I don't know that it's what they're vaping is the problem. It may just be the vaping is the actual problem.
I think it's what they're vaping, but they're not. They haven't done studies to find out about this. You know, and why is it all of a sudden now we see all these problems where people have been vaping for several years now?
Yeah.
I don't think it was as popular as it is today because of the Juul.
Well, not just Juul. I mean, come on, there are a lot of other companies that make these things. You know,
Yeah.
the Juul is the most popular because the Juul, I think you can actually, there's an app for the Juul.
Really?
You can actually find out how much pot is left in your Juul, and you can also regulate the amount of vapor that you take in as a result. You can regulate, there's a regulator on this app. Technologically, Albert had one, and he showed me how it worked. Technologically, it was really amazing. I was about ready to get myself one of those because I just wanted the technology.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I think that they're a little premature about this, and they're going and they're talking about the THC vapes, okay, which probably would be the ones that would have the most illicitness in them, because you know, in a state like New York, it's very hard to get a vape cartridge in New York City, in New York State.
Do they know?
So you would have to go get some illegal ones.
You said 105 sick and 13 dead. Do they know what those people were vaping, whether it was a THC product or a tobacco product?
Well, they say the ailment has sickened as many people, but many reported using oil containing THC, marijuana's high-inducing ingredient, and said they bought the product from pop-up shops and other illegal sellers. So what we're talking about here is that we're besmirching an entire industry that's legal in some states, like California, like Colorado, how many other states now? Washington, D.C., around the country, where it is legal, and we're besmirching those because some people are doing it illegally. What we should do is legalize marijuana in every state and let people get the decent goods, not the, you know.
Are you sure that they're not buying the legal cartridges and then just bringing them into states where it's illegal?
I just read to you, Phil.
Yeah, but
wait a minute.
Who knows where the cartridges are coming from?
The death is linked to THC vapes bought at legal shops occurred in Oregon, where health officials on Thursday announced a second fatality and urged people to stop vaping. The only death linked to THC vapes bought at legal shops occurred in Oregon. Okay, one.
So the rest were tobacco or illegal THC?
Illegal THC or illegal substances in other states. And as you said, there's this vitamin C that some of them were...
no, vitamin E.
Was it E?
E oil, yeah.
Let's see here. So, I mean, it really is a question of that we have to bring all drugs into a legal framework and protect people. That's the way you protect people. You know, you don't protect them by making something illegal and then having them have to buy it off the street. That creates, not only does it create bad drugs, but it also creates an illicit trade that criminals can make money off of.
You know, for instance, with illegal fireworks, they're illegal in some states, legal in others.
Why are we talking? Well, you're changing. We're not talking fireworks.
No. But what I'm saying is, I think why wouldn't they be buying these cartridges in states where it's legal and then selling them in these pop-up shops?
Yeah, well, there's one difference. If you get a cartridge that's been made and sold using certain legal methods and proportions and so on is dictated by law, that's different than fireworks, which I don't care what kind of fireworks are, they can still blow your fucking fingers off.
Are you sure that the legal vape industry that are making these things to a legal standard? Or are they just doing whatever they want to do?
I believe that in the states where marijuana is legal, the states do control and test all these cartridges. Yes.
I don't know, but I live in I don't do it, but I live in a state where it's legal.
Yeah, and you don't know the first thing about it because you don't buy it.
Right.
You know, I'm using legal vape, legal THC cartridges that we got from somebody who brought them in from California. You know, come arrest me, folks. Yeah. Got your handcuffs there?
Yeah.
But
you got my
anyway.
jar of Quaaludes back there?
Yeah. There was another story here that I wanted to bring up. Oh, yeah. So we were talking about people panicking about things. And now, wait a minute, where is it? Where is that story? What happened to it? I just had it here. Huh. Where is it? Oh, fuck. Oh, maybe it's here. Hold on. I got to get the rest of my... Here we go. Here we go. Because, what we're talking about here is what I consider unreasonable fear in the absence of good thinking, okay? Moviegoers who plan to see Todd Phillips' Joker in its upcoming opening weekend. Movie opens October 4th, by the way. Landmark Theaters is insisting that everyone leave their clown mask, face paint, and other costumes at home. TMZ reports the chain's ban on clown gear comes as a number of fans have expressed interest in dressing up like the titled Batman villain for screenings.
That's a great idea. Next they'll get rid of Santa Claus.
Well, also what they're saying now is the Century Aurora. Does that theater sound familiar to you?
That's the one.
Century I heard of.
That was the one where Batman was playing, and the guy went in with
Columbine, or not Columbine?
No, Aurora.
Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah, Aurora, Colorado.
They're not going to show it.
No?
Yeah, they're not going to show it. On the other hand, some theater chains apparently are not taking special precautions related to the Joker. Regal Cinemas tell us, whoever wrote this, it doesn't think the Joker poses a specific risk because we do not believe the content or existence of a movie is a cause or a signal for violence. That being, a Regal rep added their theaters are in regular contact with law enforcement year-round, so they always have info to help make whatever security assessments are necessary. Now everybody's panicking over whether a movie might cause problems.
Is this crazy? I couldn't believe when I was reading these stories. They're thinking that the one person wrote a review because I was reading. I got so disgusted. The lady, I forgot which one it was for. She goes, it's her opinion. She goes, she's afraid that the angry, alienated white guy may take this as a message to go crazy. Really, lady? Come on.
Yeah, I think what it is what I read was that, remember that Batman
infidels.
movie?
Give me a break.
Where they came in and shot up during the Batman
well, that's the one we were talking about in Aurora. Yeah.
No, but I mean this Joker movie, they're afraid that if people start dressing up and stuff like that, it could be the same thing. Because something about somebody said the Joker or something in that other shooting in Aurora. They said the Joker or something. That's what I read.
Yeah, and what other
I think something like that'll happen.
And what other movies have they had where people show up in costumes and do cosplay? This is a modern.
It's only been that one
cosplay is a modern thing that we do and people do and enjoy, and so you want to show up dressed as the Joker. So what?
They used to do that at the Rocky Horror, to the midnight screening in Queens. They would dress up.
We had Rocky Horror. That was the progenitor of all of that.
I didn't get dressed up, but the other people.
I guess we better stop Cinecon, or what is it? What's it? Comic-Con. Because
and I don't get dressed up, but I find it cool when they dress up. They're just having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I think? You know what they don't realize? I was reading one review, and I think I didn't see the movie, of course, yet, but I'm just trying not to read about it. Mm-hmm. They're worried about that it may show the disregard for the person with a mental illness. Well, you know what? Didn't Reagan, Alex, close down the mental facilities?
Was it Reagan? Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe that does have it. Maybe that could have an effect on the Looney Tunes coming out.
Well,
look in New York.
It had a great deal of effect on California.
And sometimes if they don't, I don't think they like hearing something that might hit home a little bit. Like, hey, maybe they are raising a decent.
In fact, a lot of these people who are living on the streets in California, the result of that whole thing that went on with Reagan years ago. Yes, Charlene.
Well, I see the commercials and everything, and I've read some stuff about it. And it looks like, Joaquin Phoenix is doing a great job in this thing. But what exactly does it have anything to do with Batman? Because I'm thinking of, like, Batman and the Joker. Is that what the movie's about?
Well, no, Joker. Batman, I don't think is involved in this.
That's what
as
it looks
a
like
character
to me.
in this
That
film.
it's a total different thing. Even though it looks like the Joker, it has nothing to do with Batman.
Well, no, it's the evolution and the evolving of the Joker and how he came to
after
be.
Batman or something. Or...
You know, this is the 10th retelling of this. They did the whole thing on Gotham a while back. You know,
they're going after clowns illegally.
I don't like what they're doing when they start bad mouthing things like that. They don't even. I don't know. I think they're trying to make a name for themselves. I don't really like it. It doesn't seem valid.
Look. To begin with, Warner Brothers is probably sitting there.
How much are they going to make now?
Yeah, doing this. Okay.
Give them some more bad press because we'll make more money.
Yeah, because now everybody. I wasn't even aware the movie was. I wasn't even aware the movie was coming out. Now I want to go see it.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to wait 2 weeks, though, because it's going to come out Comic-Con weekend, so I won't go. I'll wait for the following weekend, like a Saturday.
Yeah, you know, I go to the Comfy Chair Theater. I order a seat ahead of time, and then I go in and just sit down and watch it, you know.
But it's got, it's gotten the interest. I mean, of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know, I really wonder, Alex, if a lot of the old movies probably would never have flew today. They probably would have destroyed them.
Oh, Tony, I just watched Taxi Driver on Netflix the other day, and I said to myself, I don't know if this movie would be, would that be?
They would go crazy.
That movie was crazy.
If that movie came out today, they would be complaining that it incited people to try and kill public figures, politicians, because that's what he was doing.
And Alex, that was a great movie because it showed Times Square when it was really seedy. Did he take Jodie Foster to the X-rated movie? Yeah. They would have went crazy with it. That would have got like an X-rated rating.
Yeah.
Like, you can't put this out. Yeah, you could. I mean, you don't have to like it, but.
Yeah. The movie that they went to see in the porno theater, do you remember what the movie was?
No, I don't remember.
It was called Sometimes Sweet Susan, and the film actually existed, and it was produced by a guy who went on, it was a porno film. He was in it, he starred in it, and then he produced it, and then he went on to become the head of Columbia Pictures. I'm not kidding you.
Holy shit.
Probably the biggest success in the porno business. He went on and became the head of Columbia
Pictures.
Pictures.
Be allowed today if they found out, right?
Yeah.
They'd make a big thing out of it.
In fact, I remember interviewing the guy when the picture came out because we did him for Midnight Blue, and he disappeared for a while. And next thing he cropped up, he's the head of Columbia Pictures. And you're going, I think one day they finally got rid of him when they found out about that, though.
Did they have a porno division?
No, but they do now. Charlene, you have your hand up. You've got time for.
Isn't there a Scorsese movie?
This is good. Go with it.
Scorsese's coming up with something. What is it about? Like it sounds good.
It's going to be on Netflix.
Netflix has got some good movies coming.
Yeah, and it's De Niro. It's De Niro and Pesci.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Pacino. I can't wait to see Pacino, Alex, and Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
So it sounds pretty good to me. I'll be there. Well, I'm there already. I just have to turn on my TV set.
Yeah, we can sit on the couch. That's why I can't wait. I'm going to watch it on my
movie.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's it for this evening. Gee, folks, if more people don't call, I'm gonna do this one day a week. Okay, because I don't know what's happened. It's very slow this week, and it's like pulling teeth. And while
people make reservations.
Well, I enjoy. You make people do reservations. Yeah. While I do enjoy the hell out of talking to Phil, I would not want to be left in this room alone with him. Okay. Thank you.
I'll put on my clown mask.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Charlene, and thank you, Tony, with that hideous wallpaper. Why don't you all give a big, just goodbye, if you will. Just wave goodbye to everybody. Nobody, come on, wave. I haven't got your audio on, Phil. Everybody wave there. Come on, everybody. There we go. Okay, all right. Oh, boy. That's it for tonight. Oh, boy. If tomorrow night it's slow like this, I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway. But it was a good show. I can't complain. I think we actually had a good discussion, although Phil drives me crazy. Hey, listen, next is The Intersection with Jack Bishop. He'll be next. And then tomorrow night at 9:30, Yes, of course, as always. You know, folks, it's the exchange with Damian Chaplin, and then closely followed by another guy at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Me, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice night.